ready? Are we recording? Because I didn't hear you say it twice.
We're recording.
Okay, cool. Are you sure? You want to go check back?
You check.
Angela's super close to her fight, so
I'll check.
She doesn't want to do anything.
Now I'm doubting myself. It's recording. Okay. It's recording.
Is that recording?
It is recording.
Okay.
Yes, it was recording the whole time.
Hey guys, we back. Oh my God! Stop. She has entered fight week mode, which means she cannot.
Practicing my intimidation scare. Intimidation scare. Intimidation stare.
It's adorable.
To scare. Does it work?
Thank you.
Oh, it doesn't work.
You're so cute. You know, some people got it and some people don't.
Yeah. I was trained out of my RBF because it would hold me back in society.
I didn't learn that.
Just another angry black bitch. We have enough of you. I have to be happy.
Well, white people can stay angry, I guess.
Yeah. It's a thing. It's a thing. There's no consequences.
There's proof right here.
Yeah, exactly. We have so much to get to in our bonus episode.
Yes, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Hi. You guys who are getting it early, thank you so much. You got to tell us what you want us to do for the members only content, because we need to start making some content that's only for members that isn't going to go anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us what you want to see in the comments, and we'll make it happen.
We're good like that.
Yeah, we got you. Anyway, how crazy was this weekend of like random stuff happening?
It was pretty crazy.
There was so much random stuff happening.
Mm-hmm.
Our boy Merab.
He got spicy at CGI.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him. We saw in real life what happens when trolls fuck around and find out.
They find out real quick. And it was pretty funny. He was at the Craig Jones Invitational, which is another thing that was pretty insane. They pretty much buried ADCCs with their content and with their streaming and everything. ADCC made this big deal about going to T-Mobile this year and having like a sold out arena, having all the best grapplers, and they were only going to pay the person who won $10,000. Mm-hmm. Now, CJI said, that's kind of messed up. So they did their own thing. It was backed by a bunch of people with money, but they did their own thing where the show was $10,001. Mm-hmm. Total troll move. And then the prize money for the tournament is $1 million. So two people won. Was it Cade Rotolo? One of the Rotolo brothers won. And then the guy, Nicky Rod, who beat our guy at Alliance, Felipe Andrew, in the final, he won the $1 million too. So we got close. We'll get him next time, but that's how good our jiu-jitsu is. We got our guys almost won $1 million at Craig Jones Invitational. But Merab was in the crowd. There were a lot of celebrities in the crowd, and someone started talking smack to Merab when O'Malley popped up on the screen. I think he said, like, "That's your daddy" or something in the crowd. So Merab stands up, walks up to where the guy is sitting in nosebleeds.
Well, he hopped over 2 fences, and I've got to say, if you're gonna do any fence hopping, you need to wear more like 4-way stretch jeans, because it looked like Rob was having a hard time getting his leg over.
Oh,
there.
no.
But that was just a technical analytical note.
He didn't plan on beating up a fan that day. He didn't, because the guy's a fan. The guy knows who Merab is. He's heckling. He's a fan, whether you like it or not. But he didn't plan on beating up a fan that day. That wasn't on his bingo list for what was going to go down at CJI.
Listen, he cowered immediately. As soon as he saw Merab saying, "Okay, you want to talk that, I'm going to come over and we can talk."
I bet when he saw him jump over the first fence, he was like, there's no way he's going to get over here. And then he jumped over the second fence and he was like, oh shit.
People got out of the way. They're like, I am out of here. I am not getting involved in this. I am staying at least 2 feet away so I can like hear what's going on and I can get the full scoop.
They should have carried him like one of those rock concerts, you know? Like Merab just jumps on top of the crowd and they're like, we'll carry you to the troll so you can beat him up. This is going to be great.
And he gave him a little
nuggie.
Yes.
Yeah, he grabbed him by the hair and then security jumped in there before nothing.
Carried Merab off.
Yeah.
Like a little naughty dog at Dog Beach.
Oh my gosh. Good. That's the perfect way that goes down though. That guy has a life lesson of not to fuck around because you're gonna find out. And Merab doesn't catch a lawsuit. So that's the perfect.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure that guy pissed himself. But a lot of fun things went down at CJI. I was watching the Rozenstruik fight that we were talking about, and I was really distracted because that was going on at the same time that Craig Jones was grappling Gabby.
So I didn't get to see that.
It was really strange.
I heard it ended in rear naked choke.
It ended in rear naked choke. I think the bet was that if he got a heel hook or some kind of leg lock on her, that they would have to do a collaboration on OnlyFans together. So she was defending the leg locks like really, really hard. Well, she would just sit there and just be like, no. No, you know, get to my leg. And they'd have to move on to the next thing. But it did, he looked like a squirrel in a big jacket. You know, he was just zipping around there looking for submissions. It looked like he was kind of letting it go on longer than it needed to, like a little catch and release going on. But then eventually he went for the choke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that was fun. I'll have to watch like all of like the replay.
I feel like that's gonna be on Pornhub at some point. I mean, for like $2.99.
I hope they're all making money. I hope everybody made amazing money on this. He's the only acceptable kind of troll in my mind.
He is great.
He does it right.
He does it so well.
He's funny. He's playful.
Mm-hmm.
He's quick and witty.
Mm-hmm.
But he's never, I don't know. He's never quite as offensive as he could be.
Yeah, and it's never
light.
He's never polarizing too. I feel like everyone can laugh at what he's doing.
And he's self-deprecating.
Exactly. That's the best way to get people on your side.
People, you got to make fun of yourself too.
Exactly.
It's a balance.
It is. It is. The whole build up to that Gabby Garcia thing too is just amazing.
Like when he kissed her.
Oh my God. I was a little mad at that. I was like, wait, is this a joke? And it was. It's like, you can't do that just because she's a big beast that could kill you. But then when she was chasing him and she goes, you can't do that. And she just like taps him on the shoulder. I'm like, oh, okay, they're playing.
It was playing. Yeah.
They playing. It's
everything
cute.
was a show. I appreciated it.
Pulling her pigtails. So yeah, that was a fun one. And then Mackenzie Dern went up against Effion, who's just the best grappler in the world. It's not surprising what happened to her, but she put up a good fight. And then what was the other big thing that happened? Oh, Luke Rockhold had a pretty funny fight with this. I don't even know who he was, but some dominating grappler. Yeah, you just pulled it up. And the reason I brought that up is because there was a funny moment where he's against the wall. You know how they have like that pit? It's like
it's the karate combat pit.
Yeah, it's the karate combat pit. So there's a slope, so you can kind of lean over the slope. It's kind of like how 10th Planet was when we would go spar there and they had the shed doors open, and every now and then you'd end up on the sidewall where you could just, if you're not feeling sparring, you could just crawl out.
Jump over.
Just crawl out into the parking lot, go home. Yeah.
I'll get my stuff later. I'll come back for it, but I'm done for today.
Pass me my keys. I'm going to go cry. Yeah, it was like that where you have the slope so you can kind of like chill on the side and the audience is right there. And Mighty Mouse was sitting there and he goes, come on, Luke, you got to dig deep. And Luke's like, dig deep in jiu-jitsu?
Yes, in life.
He's such a like, I don't know. He's such a troll. He was trolling there too, and then the guy he was grappling got mad and just jumped for a rear naked. And I don't know if he got it, but he pretty much dominated Luke Rockhold that fight. And I thought that was really funny.
There was a lot of toying around in that match.
Yeah, I would love to do that just for that, just to get out there, have fun, like toy around. Maybe I can walk over to you in the stands and be like, what do I do next? You know, like have some fun with the crowd.
What you got to do?
Hey, just grab her legs so I can, like, you know, break her guard. Little stuff like that. But it was a really fun event. And I didn't watch much of ADCC, but I saw the trolling of that as well, where the stands were pretty empty. But there was another street fight that happened at a different place, PFL.
Yes.
Dude, what is going on?
Marvin Vettori and Brendan Allen, correct?
Yes.
And they got into a brawl at a casino. I don't know if alcohol was involved. I don't know if gambling was involved. But without knowing anything, I'm going to say Marvin started it.
That's racist.
It's not.
Against Italians.
I know my people. We're very passionate.
He is probably the most emotive fighter that I've ever seen in a place. Like, he just wears every emotion on his sleeve. Like, if he's sitting there and he thinks about a dog he liked, he would just go, you know. Like, I feel like everything that he thinks comes out on his face. And I could definitely see Vettori starting that.
I just, without knowing anything, I just feel like that's what happened.
You just seen them talk. You've seen their press. Brendan Allen is always very chill, very laid back, but he does have that, like, don't mess with me face, you know? Mm-hmm. I feel like he's pretty defensive when somebody messes with him, but he's never going to start something. He's a finisher.
Yes.
He's not a starter. He's a finisher. You can see, you know what I mean? Like, you can see that in someone's face, even if they're really chill. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's the vibe that I get from Brendan Allen. And then Vettori is just, oh, you want to fight? Like,
even if he's not mad, it looks like he wants to fight.
Yeah.
He's just got that energy and the body language.
And he's too twitchy. He's just always, like, doing stuff.
Well,
burning calories.
Maybe this is, the next fight to make.
That would be a fun one.
I know they're technically in different weight classes, but it's not that far of a jump. It's okay.
Yeah, why not? Yeah. They already fought. It's a rematch.
Yeah, exactly.
And Vettori got lit up. I don't know if the camera angle.
We need to see another angle. We can't judge it from this angle, Angela. We talked about this.
Exactly. We need 3 angles, 3 different cameras, so we can figure out what the actual score was. But it looked like 10-9 Allen.
It did from that the little clip we saw. But again, we don't want to fall into that same, tragic pattern that these UFC judges get into. I think we need to be better than that.
I forgot his name. The guy that got fired in Australia.
We don't need to talk about him anymore.
Oh, man. Dana dropped a funny one-liner. I heard he was like, oh, it happened at PFL? It was probably fight of the night.
Oh, good one, boss. Good one. He probably said it with the most deadpan face, too. He's dead serious. It's probably amazing.
Just a nail in the heart of PFL. Leave us alone. Quit being a bully, is what they're saying. Yeah, that was a pretty funny little spat that happened. But we had another little, I guess you can't call it like a street fight, but in 305. It was a spat. It was a spat.
A post-fight spat.
Yeah, and I mean, what did you think about that whole thing that happened with Junior Tafa and?
So we had Junior Tafa and we had
Walker brother,
the Walker brother, other Walker
does not look like a Walker.
There, listen.
You were like his brothers in the UFC. I'm like, who? Who? I don't even know. He must have a different last name. Like, that guy does not look like Johnny Walker.
Well, his name is Walter Walker.
Oh. So that's a rainbow child. It was like your mom. This mom is from Brazil, but then this mom is from like I don't know, Russia.
Well, there's lots of like Russian, German, Brazilians. It's a melting pot, much like the United States.
Okay.
So what happened in the fight was Walker got his hands on Tafa. Tafa has knockout power. He's a knockout artist. That was the game plan that I would suggest for anyone going against Tafa. He got him down very easily. He, after some scramble situation, he transitioned to a heel hook, which is something that we really don't see from heavyweights.
Yeah, we're seeing triangles now,
arm
we're
bars,
seeing all
sorts.
heel hooks.
And he did it at the right moment. He did it when there was, it was less than a minute left in the round. And they started rolling. I initially thought that the bell had rung because it was so close to the end of the round, but the ref ended up separating him. It was from verbal submission, ref stoppage, but Tafa got up and protested and was really upset. He said that he didn't tap, he didn't verbally tap, but what he did was he vocalized.
Yeah.
And so in the pre-fight meetings with the ref, they talk about, I'm here for your safety. You can tap out, you can yell if you can't tap out, these sorts of things, but the ref is there for your safety. So I think the ref saw whatever it was, he reacted and stopped the fight because he thought Tafa was done, had enough. Tafa got up, protested, and they had to be separated. And in the separation, Tafa slapped him, slapped Walter Walker across the face.
Volta Valka.
Yes.
It wasn't the worst. It wasn't like a slap though.
It was a slap.
It was a slight head move.
It was more fingers than palm.
It wasn't done to hurt. It was done to embarrass.
It was insulting.
It was an insulting slap. He was not hurt by it.
It's the kind of slap that in the olden days they take a glove and say, a duel. Yeah, it's like that. Exactly. Yes, you get it. We've all seen it.
Yes,
so he had to defend his honor.
I challenge you to a duel again. Yes. Even though I just lost. Oh. Yeah, that's one of those things. And it was funny hearing the commentary debate about it, but that's one of those things that they always say in the back room. They say, if you scream out in pain, we're going to stop the fight. So make sure if you're like grunting or whatever, you're mindful of how you're doing it, because if you scream, we're going to think something's broken and you're like screaming out in pain and we're going to stop the fight.
That's fair. I've had an issue when they say that though, because there are certain moments where you're just going to express yourself vocally. Whether you're trying to explode out of a position, sometimes you need to give that little extra oomph and dig deep, and it just comes out. So there are these moments in a fight where you're not really conscious of what you're doing, but you're in survival mode, you're in defensive mode, you're trying to, get out of a position. And so sometimes you'll make noises. And I don't know if that's what happened in this case, but that's what he's claiming happened in this case.
Yeah. And it sounded like a pain scream. It didn't sound like a, all right, 100% effort scream. But as soon as it happened, the pressure let up and he continued to fight. So that's when you're kind of like, why did the ref jump in there, as opposed to him going, and then the ref is separating him there. If you go, and then you're good, and then the ref jumps in, then that's where the fogginess comes from. That's where it's like this gray area where there really needs to be a little clarity there. But yeah, it was almost like Tafa freaked out for a second, realized he was okay.
And there were only like 10 seconds left in the round.
And then the fight got stopped.
The fight was stopped.
Yeah, I understand his frustration. I really do. And it's one of those things that you usually only see happen to girls when the ref jumps in a little prematurely on something that's a gray area thing like that. So when you see it happen to a heavyweight too, you're just like, And also the fact that you don't see heel hooks that often. Maybe the ref just wasn't sure how bad the injury was and wanted to get in there before it got worse. So I'm wondering, I mean, Tafa looked fine. He wasn't limping.
Yeah, he was walking around.
Yeah, he didn't look like there was any damage done. He might have just been freaked out that it was about to be done. And unfortunately, the fight got stopped before he wanted it to. But the stuff that happened afterwards was pretty comical. Wasn't he flipping him off too?
Yep.
The whole time.
He was not happy, and he wanted everybody to know it.
And then if you're in Vulcan's position, like, how are you feeling about that? You're just like, shouldn't have screamed.
Yeah, that's fair. You know, he was doing his job. Walker was doing his job, and he was trying to finish the fight. And if I'm Walker, in my mind, I did my job. The fight has ended, and that's that. Yeah. You can be upset about it, but this is what happened.
So he was calling for like a 4-way fight.
I'm calling for a 4-way fight.
You were calling for it.
I'm calling.
He was calling the fight to fight Justin Tafa. After that win, I think Junior was calling the fight Johnny Walker before the loss.
So I see this being settled is we have a 4-way tag team or brawl, whatever it is.
Match.
Just lock them in there and see what happens.
King of the cage.
May the best brother pair win.
Yeah, I'd watch that tag team event.
I would
too. In the UFC. You got to do it in the UFC. Don't let anyone else snatch that up. We are partnered with WWE now, so we might be able to make that happen, like a MMA WWE hybrid rules type of fight.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
That would be it. What's the one where you climb to the top and you try and get the briefcase of money? Do you know what that's called? I don't watch wrestling enough.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Say it in the comments.
Help us out.
I know everyone's mad at us for not knowing.
We can't know everything, guys. We're human.
I know it's a thing. Is it a ladder match?
Maybe.
I know
it's
there's
like
a ladder
something in the
match.
bank.
That's
Money in the bank.
Money in the bank.
Hey, we don't need you guys anymore.
Good
Chill.
job.
Chill. Money in the bank.
Good job.
Yes.
Hey, all right. That's the one. They would do great in that.
I think they would. I want to see it.
Dude, Johnny Walker would be so fun in a WWE match. He'd be hilarious.
Yes.
The way he sells. Remember that fight that they stopped because he.
But he was in the desert.
No, yeah, he was in the desert. But before that, before he had the desert moment, he got hit with something. He went, oh, and then the guy rushed in and he threw this crazy jump knee. And I'm like, yo, this guy is an actor, an actor. He sold me. I thought he was hurt. And he was not. He was just setting up his jump knee.
I haven't seen something like that since, who was it? Hands of Stone Smith. Who was he fighting? He was fighting the East Coast of the New Yorker. It was after the Ultimate Fighter, or it was on the Ultimate Fighter. Damn it! I'm sorry, guys. I'm working through this right now.
Hands of Stone, not Jeff Neal.
No.
Oh, that's Hands of Steel.
He either played possum or maybe he was hurt and he came back with a big overhand, right? I haven't seen somebody play possum that well since it's been a decade.
Well, then the one guy, the guy who paints himself green at weigh-ins,
yes,
he played possum so bad that they stopped the fight.
Yes.
He was like, they're like, he's out on his feet. He's like, no, what are you doing? Wait a second.
This is my moment. You got it. See, I feel like this is where communication before the fight is very important.
So, hey, this is my plan. I'm going to pretend that I'm messed up. And then I'm going to throw a jump knee. So don't get in the middle of that.
Let me work.
If I look messed up and I don't throw a jump knee, then you can see if you need to jump in.
Either way, let me die.
Yeah, just let me die. That's it. Let my knee get ripped off.
Yeah.
If I'm screaming and I'm not tapping, then I'm just exerting myself.
I'm an artiste. I need enough room and space to paint my canvas properly.
Exactly. Man. So what else did we have for our thingy? Oh, we had some fan questions.
Yes.
One fan was asking how they thought that how we thought that the Cyborg versus Pacheco fight was going to go down in October.
I'm looking forward to this one. When I heard that this fight was announced, I immediately thought this is probably the most even matchup like size, power wise that we've had with Cyborg. She's always been such a dominant figure in her division. And she has this, this crazy ability to overwhelm her opponents with power, physicality, with cardio. So I think that, what we've seen, in the previous fights, I think this is a good matchup.
Yeah, I think so too. I think we've seen Cyborg a little more vulnerable ever since her Amanda Nunes KO. And even though she's just been killing it since then, you always feel like someone who is just big enough and strong enough would be able to finally put her in that position where it looks like there's a changing of the guard, where she's not that big, scary monster anymore. The young guns have finally caught up with her. Because it wasn't just size, but it was also like the way that she committed. Like we were talking about with the Duplessis fight. She would commit to everything. She would commit to her punches. She would come in heavy. People were afraid to try to shoot on her. They were afraid to get in the pocket with her because they knew they would just be walking into a wood chipper. So you needed someone like Amanda Nunes who also had that ability, also had that fear factor about her to come in and get the job done and kind of show the game plan. But I don't think anyone's really been able to do that to her since. So this is going to be an interesting one. We all wanted to see Cyborg fight Kayla Harris, and now we get the person who beat Kayla Harris. This is going to be an interesting one to see how that fight would have gone, but also to just see a little more respect getting put on Pacheco's name. If we can see her get a win over Cyborg, who has been the female GOAT in a lot of people's eyes in MMA since women's MMA started, and she's still going strong. If she's able to get a win over her, that's gonna boost her. Like a win over Kayla Harris, a win over Cyborg, like that would be crazy. Like you have to start putting some respect on her name after that. And she was actually in the UFC, right? Pacheco was
she?
I think so.
I didn't think so, but I've been wrong before.
Let me look before I run with that. You're getting Pachanga Arena. Pacheco, Larissa Pacheco. Yes, she fought twice in the UFC.
Who did she fight?
She lost to Jessica Andrade by guillotine choke. And that must have been when Andrade was at 35. And then she lost to Jermaine Durandamy by TKO. And that was 2014 and 2015. So
that's a wash. These fights happened so long ago.
It was a long time ago. And these are legit people. Like, these are legit contenders. She also has a TKO over Irina Aldana in Jungle Fight in 2013. So this girl is coming up. There's a lot of people who are kind of on the outside of UFC, outside of Bellator, who have just been in the mix for a long time. They have that experience. They have the knowledge of the more well-known fighters that we know, but they just haven't had that platform. And she's one of them. So yeah, the fact that she's already fought competition like that, she's been doing well against everyone in PFL except for Kayla Harris until she finally beat Kayla Harris, and now she's up against Cris Cyborg. That's going to be a really fun one to put her on the map. Yeah, so let's go Larissa Pacheco. Make a name for yourself. Why not?
What was the next fan question?
The next one is a question about manifestation and visualization. Do we do it?
Yes.
And does it work? And I'm just ad-libbing. I forget what they actually asked, but something like that.
Yeah, I think visualization and manifestation are real, and I've seen the benefits of it. I think that it's very grounding and comforting and motivating just to visualize and to have a clear-cut path and see yourself in this. It helps it actualize. And I think it's important to do in everyday life, and especially if we're in sport and competing, because there's a lot of fear and anxiety around that unknown. So this can kind of, for me, it grounds me and helps me see a clear path to victory, to what I want, to whatever goal I'm trying to create.
Yeah, it's really similar to just like setting an intent on what you want to do either that day, that week, that month, that event, that fight, this training practice, being able to visualize what you want to happen, what mistakes you want to fix, what skills you want to get better at. That gives you a clear focus. And then it's a lot easier to get to those goals if you have that in the forefront of your mind. A lot of times, when I realize I'm not doing that, I'll have like a couple crappy practices in a row. And I'm like, man, I'm not throwing volume, or man, I never go for takedowns, or man, I'm doing this or that. And then next time training comes around, I'm not thinking about it until after training's over and I realize I did it again. That when you feel something like that happening, that's when visualization and manifesting really play a big part in your development, because it's so easy to do the same thing over and over again. Like, it's so easy. You're comfortable doing it. That's why you do it. Whether you're being successful with it or not, it's the thing that you fall into. And it's so easy to just habitually do the same thing. So when you manifest something, that's something that you're not doing right now. That's something that you want to do in the future, something that you can see yourself doing, but you just need that extra push. And I think that's it's really important for athletes, for anyone to have when they want to start doing something a little different, or just progressing or reaching the goals that they want to do. So I've been manifesting, or visualizing, and hopefully manifesting a lot of things. I mean, I've been manifesting it in training. I'll wake up with a goal, wake up with an intent, and say it before I start training, say it before I get in the gym. Just know, okay, this is what I want to do. And it doesn't have to be a big thing. It can just be as simple as never stop moving. Always moving my feet, always breathing, recovering my breath in between each round, going hard the entire time, not taking breaks. And little stuff like that, little victories like that will help you gain that confidence in your manifestation. So try it. Try it, guys.
It's important when manifesting or when creating an intention, it's really important to say it in the present, not in the future. You have to make it so that you are already that way of being, that you have already achieved that goal. So, today at practice, I am so happy and grateful that I got 3 takedowns in each round. So it's just putting that intention and speaking it into existence. And then the more you say it, you'll start believing it. And it's that belief that helps you achieve it.
Try it out. I think it works. I think it works. And if it doesn't, just visualize and manifest something easier.
Well, and sometimes things take time. Sometimes things that I'm trying to manifest are, I'm putting it out there. I'm very intentional with it, but I know that it'll be in the far future.
Yes, exactly.
That these things happen. Yes. But at least I know what I want and I know what I'm trying to create.
You're working towards that goal every time you get out there. So that was a good question from somebody. I forgot to write down their name. I'll shout you guys out next time. I was less prepared today. Another person asked if men can wear thongs.
Yeah, why not? Like in fights or in training or just in general?
I'm not sure. I think it was just a general question.
I give you permission to wear thongs. Give yourself permission to wear thongs. It's fine.
Do whatever you want. I don't think you want to wear thongs. That sounds like a question from a guy who's never worn a thong.
I think he's thinking about it, though.
He's thinking about it, but...
just go do it.
Boy, you will be mad that you open up that door because... thongs look cuter. There's no panty line, but there's floss up your butt.
In training, I need a full coverage.
All the cheeks need to be
secured. Feel supported.
See, I started training in thongs, and now I don't like not training in thongs.
Oh,
I don't know why, but like it's just I hate that panty line. Like it's just it always looks like granny panties when I train in something that's not a thong, unless it's the boy shorts. But then the boy shorts give me a front wedgie.
Oh,
Yeah, so I'd rather have a back wedgie than a front wedgie.
interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I use the sweat wicking thongs. Like Reebok makes a good
Okay.
brand that's like really comfy.
I like Lululemon ones.
Oh
personally.
yeah,
They're very
yeah.
nice.
Yeah, and Victoria's Secret makes some good ones too. The no like there's no like elastic on the edges. It's very like just lays against your skin, so it almost feels like you're not wearing anything.
That's better.
Yeah, but the front wedgies, ugh, those are the worst.
Worst.
And a guy, I feel like the front wedgie would be so bad on a guy. But I guess
Well,
you won't have it if you're wearing a
they're
thong.
Specially made for a guy.
Yes. Make sure they're men thongs.
Yeah.
You don't want to wear a woman's thong. Your
I mean,
junk
or maybe
is-
he does. Maybe,
Maybe he wants to split the balls
maybe
down the
you're
middle.
into it. That seems very uncomfortable.
I feel like that would just make him like the little what are those things called? That that thing you put on your desk.
I know what you're talking. I actually do not know what that is called.
Yeah, it would turn it into one of those if you had a woman's thong on.
Seems
Hopefully.
very uncomfortable.
Ugh. Yeah. And then our last question. We posted my last training push, our last training session on Friday, and there were a lot of dogs because MMA girls, they love their dogs.
It's the best kind of training session to have.
They love bringing their dogs to the gym. We all had at least one.
Listen, well, I didn't have my dog, but there was
you didn't bring
basically
yours.
one dog per person.
There was a dog
was
per
nice.
person. Yeah, that was always nice. Jess needs one dog per person ratio, otherwise she gets a little cagey.
I do. I need a lot of support from animals.
Yeah, furry support. But the question was, what do you do with all the pee and poop with all those dogs in the gym?
First of all, our dogs are housebroken.
They are housebroken. They are
They're
trained.
very well behaved.
You do not allow a dog who is not housebroken to be in the gym because that's unsanitary.
No. And if you are a good dog owner, which I hope you are, and everyone in that gym is a good dog owner, then they bring doggy bags.
Yeah, you bring your doggy bags so you can pick up the poop when they poop outside, not inside.
Like they're supposed to.
Yeah, and then you toss it in the trash.
That's an interesting question.
Easy peasy. Yeah, interesting. But thanks for the support. I am looking forward to my fight. And I haven't talked about my fight.
Oh,
really.
yeah. This goes fighting next week. Wish you luck.
Yeah, I'm fighting next week. Wish me luck. We're at 4,000 followers, 4,000 subscribers on our thing.
4,000.
14.
14.
I'm like,
What?
why aren't you excited?
I was confused.
We're at 14,000. So
Thank you so much.
thank you guys. Thank you so much for all your support. Hoping we can get to 15 by the end of the week. We'll be pumping out stuff and
Tell your friends.
go tell your friends to subscribe to Two Straws so we can make that happen and get that good boost for a win next Saturday.
Yes.
All right, guys.
We
We
appreciate you
will
guys.
talk to you soon. See you on the flip side. This has been the Two Straws.